Right, so we have here with us an esteemed medical doctor from Argentina, Dr. Leandro Rodriguez Lastra. Dr. Rodriguez Lastra is an obstetrician gynecologist in the Rio Negro province, Argentina, and he was actually the head of gynecology services in the Pedro Moguillansky Hospital. As we discuss how legalizing abortion limits freedoms, right, of conscience, Dr. Rodriguez Lastra has a very heartfelt story to share with us from his own experience. Practicing medicine during a time when abortion was legal in his country. Dr. Rodriguez Lastra, thank you so much for taking the time to be with us today. Greatly
It's my
appreciate it.
pleasure.
All right, so Dr. Rodriguez Lastra, he has been experiencing a number of trials for refusing to perform an abortion from April 2017. A judge actually found Dr. Lastra guilty of failing to carry out his duty as a public functionary. And he was actually even sentenced to 14 months of imprisonment, which was suspended. But before we go into, you telling us your experience, I just wanted you to give our viewers a brief background of your years of experience, your specialization, qualifications as a medical professional.
Well, I was born in Argentina in 44 years ago. I am a specialist. I finished my gynecologist residency in 2014. I was chief resident in 2015. I am specialist in gynecologist endocrinology. I was taking courses on gynecological and obstetric ultrasound as well. In 2016, I decided to improve my work and career, finding this challenge 12,000 kilometers from Buenos Aires in the province of Rio Negro.
Okay. All right. So we found your story aired on several online articles, right? You had several court hearings and verdicts given in trials from 2017 and ending just recently after you refused to participate in abortion. Could you just take us back to how all of this persecution began? Like, what exactly happened to start this persecution?
Well, this persecution began with a complaint of a provincial deputy. She was the author of a law that I'm accused of having violated. And so that's how this began.
So a complaint was given, like, okay, oh, okay. So in an article I read that the woman who was brought in, she had a fever, and your first reaction was to try to protect her from having a septic abortion due to bacterial contamination. Could you tell us a bit more about this and why you believe that your intervention to save her, both her and her child, was important?
Well, that's right. The 19 years old patient was transferred by ambulance from a neighboring less complex hospital to the hospital where I was working in the gynecological emergency unit. The patient had a serious problem communicating. However, she told me that she had started an abortion with a treatment provided by a feminist organization. I must clarify that this organization does not act within the framework of the law. Her clinical evaluation was worrisome, not only because of her fever and tachycardia, but also because of her advanced pregnancy and because of her exposure to an unsafe abortion. The importance of my intervention is based on caring for the health, not only of the patient, her baby's health too. We were not facing an abortion in progress, but rather a threat of preterm delivery. That's very different, which means that the child immature is at risk of being born, requiring medical assistance. if the child was born, that assistance could not be denied, meaning an unnecessary risk for the child.
Okay. All right. So in addition to all the persecutions that you went through, you were denied the right of even doing your medical practice privately. Is this correct? Yes. Okay. So
Yes, yes,
do you
yes.
believe that it was really overreach of the law? Like, you think the law went over its bound?
Well, I need to clear, the sentence that weighs on me is not firm. That means I don't have to pay any penalty right now. If it is firm, the sentence if it is firm, the sentence will not affect my work as a doctor, but as a public official. For this reason, also in the province, in the province of Entre Rios, here in Argentina, pressure forced a weak health minister to suspend my enrollment. This decision is certainly invalid, and that's only in one province, not in all the country. Well, you know, this is because of some pressure. It was an arbitrary decision that shows the persecution that there is towards the pro-life sectors. On the other hand, it can be assured that the law enacted at the end of the last year is definitely wrong with respect to the penalty imposed on those who supposedly obstruct access to abortion. That's not right. It's a wrong law, definitely.
Wow. I can imagine how, the persecution would have affected your family. How did it affect you and just briefly and your family during this time?
Well, the persecution effectively affected my personal life and that of my family, mainly financially. And that is why I prefer to rescue the fact that so many people have helped us and value my professional work. I trust that I will achieve that my dedication to work is recognized, which had no stopped since the time that I did not work. I took advantage of it to increase my knowledge. But I don't have to. I'm sorry only for the financial effects. No, not the rest.
Okay. All right. So how long did the trial actually last before you finally got acquitted?
I was not acquitted. The trial is still in process.
Progress. Wow.
Well,
Okay.
we have gone to the Supreme Court of Justice. We hope that the members of the court will finally be able to make a proper analysis of the situation. That's our hope.
I hope so too. All right. So, but do you regret the decision that you made any at all?
No, I do not. I do not regret the medical treatment established by for the patient is based on medical issues. It is not an ideological decision. I am happy to see that my colleagues respected my decision at that time. That means that I was not wrong in the treatment. With the passage of time, the results of in the life of the patient and her baby also fill me with satisfaction, but that's another interpretation of the fact. And I can say that the treatment was not changed from the moment she came into the hospital. So that means there was no wrong. There was nothing wrong about it.
Okay, I just wanted to connect your experience to the Jamaican context now. So abortion activists here in Jamaica are actually pushing for abortion to be legal up to 22 weeks. And that, from my research, I found that that was around the time of the pregnancy in the case that you dealt with, and the baby weighed 500 grams and it had a heartbeat, despite the woman having taken the abortion pill. But could you tell us from a medical perspective a bit more about the risks of abortion procedures at this stage?
Well, as the pregnancy progresses, the danger of abortion are greater. And that at that gestational age, there is a risk of uterine rupture and
Okay, right.
unrelenting bleeding and greater long-term consequences for a woman's fertility. That's just a little mention from all the complications.
Okay. All right. So proponents of abortion usually think about advancing women's rights, but as we've seen from your experience, whose rights will prevail? So I would ask the question, like, as a Christian, will Christians or others who believe in life in the womb be punished for trying to preserve both lives? Could you comment on the issue of justice it relates to the abortion issue based on your experience?
As for justice, it is worrying that judges sentence under pressure or by ideology, particularly in this case, where there has been ample evidence that it was a medical treatment, only medical treatment. However, the judges did not allow themselves to analyze the situation objectively, and the ideological gaze always prevailed. This situation highlights the worrying helplessness of all health personnel as well as other professions are currently affected.
So, right. I know various cases where mothers here in Jamaica have been told by their doctors that their babies will be deformed, but the mothers delivered and the baby was actually born 100% healthy. But as a medical doctor, would you encourage mothers to persist even with the possibility of birth defects?
Birth defects are a big problem. I believe that the doctor must be absolutely sure before reporting such a diagnosis. As a doctor, I can only ask the patient one thing. If you only had a few hours to live, how much did you give to receive a hug or a kiss from your mother?
Wow, that's such a good question to ask, Right.
You know.
So let us look at, medical doctors take the Hippocratic oath before practicing medicine, where they promise to preserve life. But we understand that there is really a lot of intimidation, as in your case. So what do you say to doctors who believe in the value of life but are feeling fearful if they stand for life?
Well, my message to coworkers who feel intimidated is to have their work as their moral conviction respected. Both are part of human rights, and we must enforce them despite everything. No one can force us to do what we do not want, and the foundation is completely valid. Let's fight for our rights. If we cannot do more for the right of those who cannot defend themselves.
So I had read that you are a member of a pro-life group. In English, it's called Save Both. So tell us a bit more about this and how people can support your efforts to stand for life.
Well, I joined the group from becoming aware of the reality of abortion pressures and the lie of the argument to protect women's rights and health. I believe that it is very important to take a stand in defense not only of life, but of our freedom. Supporting our efforts to defend life is as simple as taking responsibility for each of us in this defense. We must not complicit in this murderous law. Silence is complicity.
Silence is complicit. Yes, yes. All right. So my last question to you. Our Jamaica's government, the Minister of State for Maternal Health, she has actually used Argentina's abortion law as one of the standards for Jamaica to follow. You being from Argentina, I know that this would be personal to you. So our government is actually set to cast a conscience vote on the issue of whether legalizing abortion, whether they should legalize abortion or not. But as a medical doctor who has experienced persecution, perhaps even heard baby cries during procedures, what would you say to our government as they consider whether legalizing abortion would help our women and our country?
Well, I will tell to the government who are considering legalizing abortion, well, to witness the medical act that abortion implies. Not only the profuse bleeding of early abortions, but also the birth of a live fetus. How it seeks a breath that allows it to live. How the death of fetus is removed from pieces from its mother womb. I will ask them to accompany the woman who is forced to have an abortion, thus seeing that nothing is improved with the abortion, but on the contrary, the pain of having a lost baby is added. Because the woman who does not, the woman who aborts does not stop being a mother. She will be a mother of a dead child. To have women is to guarantee access to education and health. Let's not allow them to lie to us. The real achievement is avoiding pregnancy, not avoiding birth. If they tell us that they are interested in our health, let them include unborn children. They also deserve the right to live.
Oh, yes, thank you so very much. You've said so many touching things, and I wish you all the very best as well with your upcoming cases. Thanks again for sharing with us. But just to tell our audience, one of Dr. Rodriguez Lastra's lawyers, Damian Torres, has written a book about Dr. Lastra's experience. It is entitled Cuando salvar vidas se convirtió en un delito. In English, when saving lives becomes a crime or became a crime. We'll place a link in to the book in the video description, and I would encourage all Spanish teachers and students of Spanish in Jamaica and across the world to purchase a copy. So, yeah,
Thank you
as
very
I
much.
said, yeah, no,
Let me add a little thing.
no problem.
The sale of the money of the book.
Proceeds of the book, right?
That's right. Is used to help an organization that it is trying to save women with pregnancy, unexpected pregnancy.
Oh.
So they help that women with several with money or what the women need. Sorry. So it's not for money.
Profit, right.
The sale of the book is not for the money, but
For the cause.
That's right.
Right. Okay, so right.
People, that's very important.
Yeah, just to repeat again to the viewers, so the sales of the book will be going towards helping
right.
women with crisis pregnancies.
That's right.
To help them, in that cause. So it's really a worthy cause. It's not for profit. Thanks again so much, Dr. Lastra.
Thank you for your correction about
fine.
my language is not very, very good, but I did my best, and I thank you so much, and best regards.
Right. So God bless you and keep standing firm for life.
Thank you.
Have a good day.